opportunity they can. And it's just like, that's why I'm just like, I'm done with this stupid fucking app. But then I'm like, okay, well, how about I just run my own lives and see how that works out? So that's where I'm at right now. So if anybody wants to debate with me about any takes that I have, you're welcome to come up. If you want to fight with me and you haven't like completely thrown me under the fucking bus for your own clout and your own drama vampirism, then come up. But I'm just going to debate on my own lives and yeah, just do my best on here to keep fighting. I don't know.
Well,
You do that,
W.
girl.
I'm gonna go. I love you, Martha. I'll probably be back.
Okay,
Thanks for
thanks
that,
for coming
Callum.
up,
Good
Skinny.
to get off my
Of course, I
butt.
might go live and really call out the bullshit. I'm gonna go call my sisters, see what the fuck they're doing, so we could all get on the same page and just.
And
I don't know.
a word of advice too is like, don't believe anything unless you do see receipts for it, you know, because like one thing you can do is you can talk to the person like myself, like you did. And another thing, yeah, tell them to bring receipts. Because I wouldn't believe anything like that. If somebody said something like that about you, even if people were like, oh yeah, she, you know, has this take or he has this take that I don't like, I would definitely not just believe it like without any receipts or without talking to you first. So that's just my advice.
Hey, I
Yeah,
just want to let you know you definitely earned my respect today. So,
for
I mean, you may not have
sure.
been, you definitely earned my respect. So, I tip my hat off to you for that, kid.
Who, me?
Martha, I
Yeah,
just want
you.
to say one
Oh,
thing, then I'm
thank
gonna
you.
go
Mhm.
back
That's
down
very
into the
true.
comments. I just want to say, like me,
Hold
like
on,
a,
peace. I can't hear
okay.
you. Wait. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like
Sorry,
me
my
alongside a
Wi-Fi
lot
is
of other.
terrible, and
Oh, I think there's a lag. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, there's an echo too.
Oh, oh
Can
my
you
bad.
drop and come back?
I'll drop and come back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll see if there's still one.
Yeah,
Martha.
that's just crazy. I'm
Yeah.
livid. I'm actually kind of livid with my side right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm getting chased around in every live I go in the comments. There's,
Yeah,
you
Goose
agree with.
messaged me the other day and was like, I guess when I had been away for the weekend and then I came back and then Goose was like, "Did you like what? Do you agree with what Martha said?" I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." Like I've been off the app for a couple of days, and then I said, and then they were like, "I'm not going to talk about it on here." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you want to DM me or something, what you're talking about, I'm not going to make any comment until
I know
I know
they're
what you're
saying to
talking
me,
about."
I agree with child.
Yeah, and I was
Child,
like,
they
I didn't
say.
even look into it. Yeah, I didn't even like
Yeah.
look into it. And then I kind of heard it from everybody else, and I was like, this is like
Well,
ridiculous.
that technique is to try to one get everyone they can possibly get to turn against me, to silence me because they're threatened by me.
Yeah.
But two to also divide us. So anyone who does ride or die or stand by me, they want to divide off of the other resistant people, right?
Yeah.
Who are trying to fight this ideology. So the more they can fragment and break us up, the better, and the more they can silence the stronger
Yeah.
voices, the better, right? So that it's a twofold tactic they're doing there.
Yeah.
But go ahead, peace.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm me alongside, I'm sure a lot of other women like really respect and value your voice. So, like, in the comments, I've just been screaming, like, don't let them silence you. You're a very strong woman. Don't let them win because that is exactly what they want. It's basically like a witch hunt, you know, and they're gonna try to basically silence all the loudest voices. But you don't have to take my advice, obviously. But I just think like you should have a date where you draw the line in the sand in this and just say, you know what, after this date, I'm not talking about this anymore. Anybody else who still wants to talk about this, that's your business. Go and handle that somewhere else. But you just move on because you're kind of on a mission and don't let these people kind of like derail you and keep dragging you back into these conversations because you've already explained what you meant and what you didn't mean. So that's just what I wanted to say. But you're doing it amazingly, and
But Martha, do you want Mickey to stay blocked?
I don't know what's going on with Mickey. I have no
Oh,
idea. So
but
that's
like,
I don't have any feelings whatsoever. Like you said that they were throwing me under the bus. So anyone who throws me under the bus, I do want to probably block. Yeah, but if she
but
wants to come, if she wants to talk, she can. I don't really care. Sorry, I'm just gonna thank you so much, peace. Rockstar, I'm just gonna acknowledge what you were saying because you keep wanting to say. So Dom and Gato in Muppets Discord were going after me in like really fucked up, like shitty ways, like just being as like attacking and crappy and insulting as possible. So I was kind of stooping to their level because like for the one like Dom was calling me homophobic and blah blah blah, and I've said okay, well, and they were calling me names and I'm like fine perv, right? Because I think that the reason I called him a perv was because he thinks that talking about the P3 and the serial unalivers and whatnot in the gay community is me being homophobic. And I said, well, if you want to like not talk about that and not illustrate that, then you're like being the apologist or protector of it. So that's kind of why I was calling him a perv. It was basically just a low blow. Like I don't stand 10 toes down on that he's a perv. It's more just like when you're in an argument and everyone's low blowing and being like really shitty. And
Yeah.
I actually didn't stoop to very many low blows in that. Like I was called an R-tard, I was called a bitch and a cunt. I was called so many different horrible names, and I was getting like angry and dogpiled in there too. And I was just like, and then he's just like, and you're homophobic too. And I'm just like, okay, dude, like whatever. And I don't remember why I said I was like, okay, perv or something. And then that was, and then you guys like jumped on that, like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that. Even that after like you guys are all saying like the shittiest things in the world, and then I finally stooped to a low blow. And it's like, oh my god, I'm not saying. It's almost like the standards set for me are just like not the same as the standards set for other people. And like I don't actually think Dom's a perv, but like he did have a large problem with me pointing out that the P3 and serial unaliving and the misogyny that exists within the gay community. And if you I think it's better like people like Gays Against Groomers or LGB Alliance, like to distance yourself from this perverted cult than to try to protect it and like not point like hide and cover up the perverted shit that's in that fucking disgusting community. So that was just a low blow. I don't actually think he's a perv. I guess I don't know him. He might be a perv. I have no idea. I think his actions of trying to come at me for pointing that stuff out or having a voice about it at all, that's not a good sign. Definitely not a good sign. I think it's better for the gay community to be like, yeah, this fucking community is full of pervs. I go to the goddamn pride parade and I'm mad and disgusted rather than be like, oh my God, it's so homophobic to point any of that out. So that's a long story short. Hopefully, Rockstar, you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you can.
And not W Dom, because that's just a dog piler, like a person again who's just like frothing at the mouth to tear me down for some reason. And like
Yeah.
if we're all on the same side, like I'm not frothing at the mouth to tear Dom down. I'm not frothing at the mouth to tear Gatto down. I could sit there, like Gatto made some absolutely disgusting, actually disgusting comparisons, like that male circumcision is the same thing as FGM. Like what? That is an
No.
actual disgusting thing to say. Like there's nothing even remotely the same about that. Like oh no, it's exactly the same. Like no, it's not exactly the fucking same. I could froth at the mouth to tear down people on my own side who say things that I disagree with. I could jump on bandwagons. There's been many bandwagons offered to me, to jump on about Bubbles, to jump on about Floof, to jump on about whoever. I don't jump on those bandwagons. I'm not here to, like, I'm not aching and eager to throw anyone under the bus or like dogpile or attack people of my own side. Even when like people are like, oh my God, this person said this and that. And I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. I'm fighting the fight. I'm debating. That's what I care about, is fighting this ideology and not tearing down individuals on my own side. But there are people on this app like Gatto, like Dom, like other people I'm not going to mention, who are just frothing at the mouth, like wait, like a shark, and when there's blood in the water, they just yeah, like they're just, and that's not solidarity. That's not people forming a resistance against something harmful. That's people here for their own entertainment, for their own personal, I don't know, like the mean girl groups that people form and then they backstab and they like I'm just not into that. I'm not into that world. You guys want that world, go ahead, leave me out of it. That's all. I don't want anything to do with it.
Okay, Martha, I'm going to drop, but if I see any comments or hear anything, I'll sort it out.
I know we're like,
Yeah.
Okay?
all I ask is
I can
people
tell you,
just
Martha
don't
always.
attack.
Sorry, yeah, Martha always like. I've never. If you think about everything that Martha has said, she never attacks the person. She attacks the
No.
argument every time. I've never heard her. I can't literally remember any time where she's ever attacked like the actual person. She's attacking the argument and what's being done. And so I think that a lot of people try to like twist her words and things that. Yeah, I don't agree with anyone on our side going like full vitriol at someone on our side because they maybe said something they disagree with instead of just asking them like what exactly do you mean by that? I may not I don't disagree.
I was
I
sticking up for Martha
disagree,
in the
and have a
actual
conversation.
argument. I was there. I was on Martha's side against
I
Gatto
believe
and,
you, Grandma.
yeah. But, yeah, if I see anyone, Martha, I'll correct them very quickly.
We love you, Grandma.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's just crazy to me that people could be even on our side. It feels like it's high school drama, and you've I've known you for like I think it's been like a year or two, a couple of years now. You've never like switched up on your side. You've been consistent with the things you're saying, and if we start like censoring speech in the exact same, we're no better than the people, the AGP defenders. It's hypocrisy at its best.
Yeah, I agree. Like I know a lot of people don't seem to agree. Like they Martha or like may have and me as well have views that a lot of people don't maybe agree with or they think is extreme, right? But like I said, like even like I don't even realize how bad it is in Canada, right? It's completely it's like women don't even have a voice there, and she's been fighting this for a long time, and um everything like most things she talks about pretty much like it happens, right? It ends up happening, and then people are like, oh shit, well I was wrong, and so we can all fight in different ways, and we don't have to agree with everything, but we should never attack each other like that. That's wrong, and it just
So
weakens our front.
let me just like deal with logic and liberty, what she's saying. So I haven't really mentioned logic and liberty. One of the things I had a problem with why I'm one of the reasons I'm wanted to leave this community was just because of the hierarchy that exists here. So if Logic or Christy or Envy say something like they're like, let's say everyone's agreeing with me, but then a couple people who are on the popularity land, like people for some reason Christy and then they love Gatto and they love these, I don't know, whatever. So if their allegiances are like, okay, well I'm gonna stay on this side because I'm friends or whatever. So if the hierarchy, those are the three main people that people seem to think are like, I don't know, on some kind of pedestal or something on this app. And so because Logic was just like, what? Like, what are you saying? It was just like, dot, 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 and like that sort of attitude, like that sort of like frothed up the like it got people whipped up into a frenzy about it. And then like them taking that stance, like turned people in a way that like, and it's hard to describe. I think you can kind of understand what I'm saying, but like, and then like when I was talking, they're like, you interrupted Logic. Oh my God. And it was just like, fuck off. Like, I think Logic is a perfectly great woman. She's very kind and nice. I like her fine. Okay. But she's not special to me. I'm not like, oh my God, you have lots of followers. So you're amazing. And I'm just going to like bow down and you like, she doesn't exist in the hierarchy for me. Like, I don't care. I treat her like everybody else. And, same with Christy and Envy. I have wonderful fights with like we fight together. We disagree, we agree, blah blah blah, all the things that happen. But there's to me that hierarchy, like it's just toxic, or it's just like, well, if they say something, well then we're just gonna all, and it's just I don't know. I just find that like people's critical thinking kind of went down the tube at that moment, and they just sort of they saw these people like help the wind blow a certain direction, and that annoys me. I guess I could say because I just find that very clicky. I find that very the hierarchy of the movement. It's just like no, let's not do that because then it gets into the cliques. It gets into um, yeah, it just gets toxic like that, and that's all. I didn't say anything bad about Logic. Her being up in a hierarchy is not her fault. People putting her on a pedestal and being like, do not ever interrupt Logic, or like someone muted Logic, it wasn't me, and they were like, who muted Logic, as if like this is like some master or something, and it's not Logic's fault that she's put on that hierarchy or whatever because of her popularity or because of her views or her followers, or I don't know what it is, but that's all I had mentioned, that one of the things that is why I want to withdraw from this community is that there is this hierarchy, and it creates another level of toxicity, so that like if I'm not in with the hierarchy enough, as much as Gatto is or whatever, then like that's another powerful punch at me, and it's just kind of like, and then that causes more of the wind to blow this way and the tide to turn and people to pile on because of that hierarchy's sort of sanctioning it or whatever, and it's just like, ugh, it's gross, it's fucking nasty, and I don't, another thing I just want nothing to do with. I just want to fight this fight. I just want to debate. I don't care about your hierarchies and who you think are amazing and that you're going to believe them no matter what they say, or like if they want to take that stance, you're going to follow them even if it goes against your own critical thinking or your own whatever. I just don't want anything to do with that. If you want to do that world with the popularity contests and all that, just go away from me, please. That's all. But yeah, Logic, I have no problem with you. I have a problem with just the hierarchy that you've been placed on, but again, it's not like you, I mean, you probably sense it, and maybe you do wield it. There's a possibility that you do wield it, but I'm not accusing you of that. I just think that the whole thing is, yeah, it's just a toxic environment for me. So that's why I'm just going to do my own lives and not worry about about that. But hopefully that makes sense. I don't even know. Well, it's a bit of a ramble, but yeah, I have no personal problem with Logic or Christy or Envy or anybody like that. I think that they have all bring to the table really good things.
Martha, can I just ask a question really quick?
Yeah, for sure.
What was that video? It's like wrong answers only. I tried to look it up, but I don't see it. I'm in the USA. Do you know what I'm talking about? You mentioned it a while ago, and it occurred to me yesterday to look it up. Like, what is a woman? Wrong answers only. Where do I find that video?
So you can watch it on Odyssey. And so it's by Skirt Go Spinny. So you just type in "What is a woman? Wrong answers only" by Skirt Go Spinny, and you can watch it on Odyssey.
Is that a website, Odyssey? Sorry.
If you just type in Odyssey, I think it is a website. Yeah, it's just one of the, because it's such a derogatory, nasty piece of documentary or journalism or whatever you want to call it. I think not all platforms will play it, but Skirt Go Spinny, like they have YouTube videos as well as they have a movie called Wrong Bodies, which is also really, really good. I don't know if Wrong Bodies is on Odyssey or not, but Skirt Go Spinny, they're just a really good like group that like puts out really good little, granted biased documentaries, but I think most documentaries are biased, so there's that.
Okay, and I support you, Martha. Thanks for having me up.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming up. Yeah, thanks for saying that a bit as well.
Yeah.
Go Spinny's YouTube was
You're blocking out.
oh sorry.
Sorry,
I
my
I
Wi-Fi's
gotta drop, guys.
crap.
Thanks for having me up, love. I gotta drop for a bit. I'll be back.
I thought that Skirt Go Spinny was
Back.
I thought that Skirt Go Spinny was
Odyssey?
no off YouTube.
Oh, off YouTube. Okay, well maybe they're. I think they have some more like ones that are kind of not as not as nudity and whatnot.
Yeah, more PG.
So Logic, that's a really, what you just said there is a perfect example. So I said I don't know if you wield power or not. I'm not accusing you of that, but you twisted it to that right away. So that just shows that you're eager for the drama. You're eager for the twisting and the manipulating to position yourself in a way that people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Martha said that about logic. And then like you go for that. Like you do that, you have that for you. I don't care. Like I don't need that in my world. Obviously I did not say that you're wielding power or, you know, you are in a weird hierarchy. If you don't know that, okay. You are like people, that's like, for you not to notice that, like when you were up on the panel and someone muted you and like, who muted logic, as if this was like a cardinal sin, or for you to not notice, like when I spoke over you or interrupted you or whatever, that was a cardinal sin, whereas that wouldn't be a cardinal sin for someone else. For you not to notice that, it's just disingenuous. Like you like to come off as a genuine person, and I think a lot of people like that, and that's one thing I liked about you. But that comment right there, that shows a little bit of true colors there, like that you are aware of the hierarchy and you're using it right now. So I don't, it just feels mean girl. It feels catty. It feels like you could be genuine with me, but instead you're doing just what I said you might be doing. So I don't know, like I have no personal problem with you, but if you're going to try to whip up attack, or if you're going to try to victimize yourself with what I'm saying, it just, I don't really need that shit. Like go do that in your own world. I don't care. I'm also in a hierarchy. Yeah, I definitely do see that. Like the respect that I get on panels is like different. I do see that I do fall within the hierarchy. I'm not as high up as people like Christy, Envy, and Logic. I can see that. And there might be, maybe we're having a power struggle right now. But that's another thing that I just don't want anything to fucking do with. Okay, like but that's another thing that I just don't want anything to fucking do with. Okay, like I don't, and like I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, Logic. Like it's not your fault in the upper tier of the hierarchy, and that gives you more power. But it is happening, right? And so maybe I fall within the hierarchy too, and I can wield some power there. But I don't, I I just don't care. Like it's not, I'm not interested in that. I am interested in fighting this ideology. I am interested in fighting gender ideology because it is hurting women and children. It is hurting society. It's hurting everybody, and it hurts the people in the cult. I'm not interested in having hierarchies and popularity contests and piling on this person and being, you know, trying to hurt each other. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to tear down this disgusting fucking ideology. And to the people who think that would hurt the trans people, I don't think that will, because they're in a harmful cult. So if we can tear down the ideology, then the people in the cult can be free of the horrible ideology. It's like, you know, the people in Jonestown. Like if you bring down that cult, it's not going to harm the people within it. In fact, it would have saved their lives, you know, and it would save people's lives and their bodies and their psyches to get the fuck out of this gender ideology cult. So that's what I'm interested in doing. You can twist my words. You can be catty. You can be in your little groups and, you know, on your discords and be like, oh, Martha, she said this. And it's like, well, whatever. You heard what I said. You can clip it. You can play it back if you like. I don't have a problem with the people who make up the hierarchy. I just have the problem with the hierarchy itself. It's a part of the toxic dynamic that I want to distance myself from. So take that as far as you want to take it.
But the thing is, Martha, like the ops themselves, they don't see you as any different than Christy or Logic or whoever's going up. They all hate us all equally. So if they see us going against each other, like, isn't that just going to give them more, like sitting in their background watching this right now laughing? So like, why are we giving them what they want?
Well, I mean, I there's a way, I don't know, I kind of feel like this is productive, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I feel like there are people who are hearing what I'm saying, and people can play it back if they want and really listen. I guess I am giving them more things to twist. It's true. But I don't know if there's any way to not do that other than just to not speak at all. And I guess yeah, you might be right. You might be right to just like leave this where it is and then just go on to the debating after that. I guess I was tempted to address everything because people are all here and they all want to address it. And so I guess I was tempted to try because I do still like it's hard like because there's the one hand where I do just want to pull right out of this community, and I'm not doing that right now, obviously, because I'm addressing and I'm back on the hot seat or whatever, and I was like, fuck that, I don't want to be there anymore. But like, there is a part of me that really does care about this community, and like, these are people that I've been fighting with for years, and we've had so much history, and they are in my heart, and they are like, I do. There's a part of me that wishes that could be salvaged, and I know that it can't because it's just like it's just going to happen again, you know. It's just like because this is just a toxic place, but there is a part of me that's just like, oh, I want to, because there's so much misunderstanding and twisting, and I hate being misunderstood, and I hate when things are twisted, and I want to say like I want to say it from my own mouth, but you might be right. I might just be giving more ammo and just more things to twist, more things to buzz about or whatever. But I just wish that like we could have that solidarity. And I know it's not possible because it's just a big
Yeah, because
crazy
don't you
world
think the
on here.
people who
But
ideologically differ or what hate what we believe, don't you think they would love you nothing more than for you to like go at Logic, go at Christy, go at Envy?
yeah, exactly. And for the record, if anyone wants to take it that way, I'm not going at Logic or Christy or Envy. I have good history with all of them. I don't really have any bad history at all. Like I don't know. I think yeah, I don't have anything bad to say.
I mean, Martha was just making a point about how there's like loyal, there's loyal factions
Yeah.
to certain people. It wasn't a dig at any of the people she mentioned.
No. And then the hierarchy thing too, like it's not to say that anyone's more or less, but there definitely is like people do treat people differently on here when they have more of a following. And it's not to say that the people who don't have as much of a following aren't as good as me or aren't as good as Christy or aren't, like that's not what I'm saying. Honestly, I do feel that like everybody's voice is valid and powerful, and I think because people like Christy or Envy or myself or Logic are on here a lot, like with a voice that's like consistently being heard or something. Like not everyone's, because people jump in and out, right? There'll be people who, so the people who are more like like Coffee, like you're here a lot, and so your voice is being heard a lot, and like so that creates a different situation, I guess. But I'm not saying anyone's less or more, like actually. And that's one thing I hate about the hierarchy is that's exactly it. Nobody is less or more. And so when people are like, oh my god, how dare you say, or how dare you interrupt Logic as if she's some kind of like queen of the world, I just get grossed out by that. I'm just like, no, she's not any more important than literally anyone on this panel, including myself. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't like the hierarchy, and I know that people form hierarchies, and that's just how we do things. But it's one of the things that have added toxicity to this situation on here, and that's all I was trying to say. But yeah, nobody's more, nobody's less. It's just
I think
there
some of
is
it's based on
factions, like
some
you said.
people just being like more likable in general than others. Like some people are more charismatic, like I would call Christy very charismatic. And I think that's why a lot of people follow her.
I find her hilarious. She's so fucking funny. And that's why I like,
like some
that's
people
why I
are
like her
just
so much.
appealing,
Yeah,
Some
everyone
people
has their
have,
own character. Like
dark
there's
quality.
yeah, everyone has their own character, and that's definitely. And I don't. And for what Tweaker was saying, I don't. It's not that I have a problem with people supporting them, like saying, "Oh, you don't have a problem unless you're the one." Like if you're being supported, like, well, it's not about who supports who.
Oh, man, do I'll catch it. Be quiet. No, you can't do this.
It was intense.
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah, no, it's not about like supporters either. Like that's not what I guess this is. Everything just gets twisted. Like, and I think I articulate things properly, but everything I say seems to get twisted. So that's why I have to like get the fuck out of this community, because it's just like no matter what I say, it's like, oh, so you just don't want anyone to support them? It's like, oh no, fuck, that's not what I said. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll just.
It's probably best at this point to leave it at that.
Yeah, I think I will.
You know what I mean?
It's just too much, and like no, and that's the thing, like no matter what I say, if you have decided to pit yourself against me because of the people you support or whatever reason, there's nothing I can say that's going to stop you from continuing to pit yourself against me. So there's no like purpose, I guess, in me keeping and trying to address everything, because like you
I think you
obviously have
explained
decided.
yourself really well. Like, I think you
Yeah.
explained everything, you addressed everything, and, you know, people can
Yeah.
reference that if they, you know, are still curious or whatever, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't have to keep, you know, stressing about it.
I'm not gonna, yeah, every little disingenuous jab, I'm not gonna like try to figure out. But if anyone does want to genuinely have a conversation with me because they are concerned about anything, like message me. We can do a one-on-one. We can go on Discord, whatever. I'm not going to get too much into it because, like I say, I don't really want to be in this world of like, you know, trying to appease the masses of my own side or the other side. I just kind of want to fight the ideology with debate, and if that doesn't seem feasible on here, then I'll just exit the app completely. But I do want to try to salvage a lot of the work that I've done the last couple of years by just trying to have maybe my own lives and see how that works. And so after this live, probably I'm not going to be too into like harping on like this cancellation attempt or whatever it is. I'm not going to keep trying to placate people or whatever. I'm just going to debate, and if that's received, it's received, and if it's not, it's not. That's where I'm at.
People will move on, and you know, time heals everything, and things become less interesting.
Yeah, and there's plenty of drama for people to jump on another drama bandwagon. And that's the thing too, if you're here for the drama bandwagons, just leave me out of it. That's all I'm asking. If you just want to like if you follow me but you're also like a drama lover, I don't really want that in my world. I want people who are genuinely fighting this fight and who actually want to stop this ideology to be around me, because it really dilutes my ability to fight and your ability to fight too. If it's just like this constant like sidetracking into drama and constant like boistering people and tearing them down within our own side, it's just like fuck.
It's distracting from the advocate. Like,
yeah, it's a waste of time. It's annoying. It's pathetic, and it also makes us look so dumb. And it gives the other side like Brookie was having like his jollies. Yeah, he was so happy, and like you know you're just giving them what they want. But I mean, a lot of these people who claim to be on our side, like go and hang out with them, and like they are kind of just on their side. So I think some of them are happy to give them what they want by, you know, turning us against each other, pitting us against each other, boistering up the drama.
That just goes to show that, you know, Brookie doesn't have much in the way of good arguments when, you know, they're so gleeful at, you know, some gossipy nonsense about you. That's all they can focus on.
Yeah, and he just like out and out lies too. Like he'll just say the most outlandish shit, and he has to know that even his own side can't believe him. Like, I mean, they may want to believe him. Like he'll say like stupid shit about me or whatever, but like deep down, they can't actually believe him. Like, there's no way like people would believe like that many crazy things that just come out of his mouth. Like,
they just enjoy like being haters. Like, you know, it's fun to like, you know, gang up on people or, you know, have someone to hate. Like, it's a tale as old as time.
Yep. So yeah, Jo, you're right. Stop talking about it. Move on. Get ops on the debate. You're right. I think we've probably said everything that needs to be said. So yeah, I do appreciate everybody coming up and talking with me about stuff. Sorry, I'm just dropping everybody. Yeah. Hopefully that answers all the questions. If anybody has any genuine questions, like if you've already made your decision and you just want to be shitty, like don't contact me. Block me or let me know that like to block you. But if anyone has any like genuine questions, because they're genuinely like, hey, like what's going on? Like I care and I'm concerned and I'm not just trying to be shitty. Like definitely message me. I'm happy to answer questions because I do care about you guys, even though I want to just like leave a lot of this behind. It's hard to because I do care. Like I actually, I love you guys. I've been with you for a long time, and it's hard to just ditch and be like, that's it, fuck off. Like all of you, I don't. It's not all of you that needs to fuck off. It's just the drama vampires that need to fuck off. So that's about it. Yeah, I did not expect. You know what? It's funny. I actually came on to live today and I was just going to play you guys a Helen Joyce interview. I was like making breakfast and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put on this Helen Joyce interview. And then like I gave Failer mod powers and kept bringing people up and then it just turned into this. So I kind of just went with it. Maybe it did more harm than good. I don't know, but one thing you can count on is I'll just be as honest and open as I can. And if it backfires on me, so be it. I actually, at this point, because I'm willing to just walk away, if it just becomes too toxic, even on my own lives, like take it or leave it. Take me or leave me. You don't like me, then that's okay. You don't have to. And if you're gonna twist and if you're here to twist, go twist and shout somewhere else. Do 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 do. Just walk forward, yeah. Well, and that's what I plan to do. But we'll see how that works out because maybe this is not a tenable place for me to be, but I will try. I'm gonna, like I said, I just wanted to come on and put on a Helen Joyce interview because that's valuable. I just listened to it and it was so fucking good. Like, God, I love that woman. And then it turned into this, but I think maybe this needed to happen because they're hearing things that aren't true and blah, blah, blah. And so I did say as much as I could say. I tried to address people like Logic or people who wanted to ask questions about things that I've said, which again, I didn't say anything to diss her. I think she's perfectly nice, although I guess showed a bit of true colors in the comments. So, but I'm fine with, I can just hit the block button and I never have to see Logic again if I don't want to. And that's the beauty of the block button. So we'll see how that works out. Although I have like 85,000 accounts, so it's hard to block. Yeah, we'll see how it works out. I hope it works out good because I love having a voice. I love having a voice and speaking and showing people stuff and reading people articles. And I love debating. I fucking love debating. I don't know why I love debating so much. I've always been a debater, like just in my life. And it probably drove like people crazy because I just need to debate everything. And so I just love to debate. So this is just such like as much as I'm like moving over to Twitter and stuff with like Anatrocity or whatever. And he's like, this is the place to be. Like, this is where the real turfs are or whatever. Like as far as like, but it's like more real there too. Cause the doxing's like far more consequential and everything's far more like, ooh, but it's not as much of a chance there to debate, you know, like I love the openness of this, like to debate. Oh, I should move this screen thing. I don't know how to do it. How do you move this back? Oh, here we go. Okay, that works better. Now you can see that a bit better. Yeah, so it's hard for me to let this go completely. And I was so done. I was like, that's it. I'm out. Like, delete the app, type out. But I'm just like, oh my God, all the work, like 2.5 years of all the videos and the people and it's too hard to give up completely. So just do my own lives. And it's so tempting. Like I see other people's lives and I'm like, oh, I just going to go in there. But it's like, nope, just going to do my own lives and see how that works. So I can stop saying that over and over again, can't I? All right. What are people saying? Exactly, Jo. Yeah, let's not fight the internal battles. We have an external war in our hands. And I really want to try to do that, to be quite honest. I do. And lucky for me, I didn't go into any of the lives that were held about me. And so I mean, maybe not lucky, because I would like to see all the people who actually threw me under the bus to the degree and just block them all. But I don't know. It would have been too ouchy. So I just stayed out of all of them. I didn't actually see any of them, which is good for my mental health. I saw quite enough before that. So yeah, I can just do the Echo Live was clown. I did not watch it. Thank God. People sent me and I'm like, nope. Nope. I don't even want to know. And I guess Christy held a live right after, and I have no idea what happened in that live either, so no idea, and I don't want to know. I don't know. I'm not here to be accountable to you guys. I'm here to fight in my own way, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. I'm not here to appease the mob. I'm not here to make sure everybody's happy with everything I'm saying. And I'm totally happy to debate. Like, if you want to ever be like, hey, like, I disagree, let's have a debate about it. My favorite thing to do. Absolutely love having a debate about it. Let's do it. Am I still cool with Christy? I mean, I am. I don't know what was said in her live. Like, I personally have nothing. I have had no bad interactions with Christy. I think she's hilarious. I have nothing but good things to say about her, but she did hold a live after that, so she could be not cool with me. I have no idea. And frankly, I don't care. Like, Christy's opinion of me is not why I get up in the morning, so if she wants to fight with me, I'm happy to fight with her. I mean, like, fight the ideology, not fight, like, each other. That's what yeah. Don't twist my words. I'm not happy to fight with people on my side. I want to fight with you against the ideology. Debate. Well, there's nobody to debate right now, so I'm just rambling. Anyone says something about it, I disagree. Oh, thanks. How am I with Nate? Yeah, Nate's pretty fickle with me. I've always sort of had a weird situation with him. Like, I used to really like him a lot. Like, we fought together, and he's just like the powerfulness, and he used to actually like have my back a lot, but then he's very fickle and very like the popularity thing and the hierarchy thing and the power thing and the drama thing, and I just can't with him anymore. The amount of times he's thrown me under the bus, the amount of times he's attacked me, I just can't. And I have such a soft spot for him because he's just a kid and he's so awesome. I just loved him. I was like, oh, you're such a cool kid. Like he's so smart and he's just so good at debating, and I have respect for good debaters. And, I just liked him because he's funny and like, his personality is like so sparkly, but he's just like, just the attacks and and like, like the woman face, black face thing, like him and I used to debate that like in the old days, like all the time. And he'd be like, how is it different? Like, he'd be right there with me. But then like when he realized it wasn't as popular with some people, like he would, he didn't really fight with me on that anymore. But then like the other days, like I never agree with any of Martha's analogies. It's like, fuck off. Yes, you do. So just he's happy to throw me under the bus way too much. So I blocked him on all my accounts because I'm just done. Like, I can't keep on keeping on with people who are just constantly like into the drama. But I wish him the best. I think he's cool as shit. And one day, hopefully he'll learn from... I mean, he's just a kid. Like, what the fuck do you expect from an 18-year-old? Like, you can't expect him to be, like, the same maturity level, like, whatever. I can't sit there and diss him. Like, I don't even want to. I think he's a very talented charismatic, funny, lots of energy, lots of life force, lots of intelligence, and I wish him the best. Yeah, Echo's obsessed with me. I don't know what the fuck. Like, it's like, dude, can you just get a hobby or something? Like, it's really weird. His obsession, like, unnerves me sometimes. I'm just kind of like, are you gonna be okay there, bud? You gonna be all right? I mean, I think he thinks I'm a threat, perhaps. Like, he might recognize that the things that I'm saying and the way that I'm saying them are a threat to his ideology, and so he wants to do everything he can to. And it probably makes him feel powerful that he can get people on our side to turn on me as well, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's why he has an obsession, but it's a bit much for sure. It's a bit much. I am a threat, silly. Well, I'm just one person. Like, I'm not that much of a threat. Like, I can, and you know, people are happy to turn on me on our side, so I'm not like that much of a threat on TikTok, I don't think. But any mind that I do change, I'm happy about that, because maybe they can go change minds, or they can do things in their own life. Like, I have no idea what people will do in their own life. So if I can even just change like a handful of people's minds, like, that's fucking sweet. Fucking sweet. Sorry, I'm trying to get ready. I've just been like talking on this live. Can we talk about males and female sports? Oh yeah, what do you guys think about that whole like California thing where they like did you guys see that? They've got that dude like up on the podium with the girl and they both have a first place medal. And they're like, see, that's totally fine, right? Like, no woman was displaced. They both got a medal. And it's like, okay, yeah. I don't think the answer is to like shove women over on the podium to have a man standing beside them and say they're both first place. I think the answer is just to not have boys and girls sports and not have men and women's sports. I don't think we're going to be settling for anything other than that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I saw that. So on my Twitter, I've been seeing about this AB Hernandez, 16-year-old kid, right? And I think in a couple of other states like Washington as well, there've been lots of other sports events happening, and you know, people are waking up. When they see these boys going up on the podium, people are either staying silent or booing them and just cheering for the which, you know, in my own little world, I'm like, yes, that's the thing to do, because you need to start showing that obviously they're kids, so it's not nice to see, but you know, we need to start taking a very strong stance against this. And so I think the quote unquote solution of having girls win first place as well as the boys. Having girls win first place as well as the boys.
It's literally that simple. It's like, we're not going to be settling for. I thought that was such a mockery of sports to have him sharing the first place podium space with the girl. It's like, that's just a mockery of sports in general at that point.
Right.
Hula says, but Hernandez is a girl. Look at the mascara. That's true.
And the nails, and the blush,
and the pigtails.
Yeah, you know. I will never forget being on a live. I can't remember whose live it was, right? And somebody was, you know, asking the usual question, "What's a woman?" And you know, this person was saying, "Oh, you know, all the usual things with dress and makeup and nails." And this person literally added, you know, brushing your teeth. Like, they they actually added things like, you know, hygiene, like brushing your teeth, to being what makes a woman a woman. I
Well, you
was
know,
just,
hygiene. We do have hygiene, so there's that. Like men men have hygiene too, but I guess that's that. What is the what is that term that they say? It's a um, the modality of sex where it's like a proportion. You can have like certain percentages of female and male. You can be like, oh, what is it? Bimodal, a bimodal spectrum or a bimodal what is the word?
I
Bimodal
don't know.
distribution. Bimodal distribution. That's what it is. So if you have hygiene, plus you paint your nails, plus you wear a dress, plus you go get implants, your bimodal distribution of female and feminine and woman, which are all intertwined for some reason, is your percentage is up there at that point, right? Because sex is a spectrum, and woman is a spectrum, and gender is a spectrum, and everything's a
All
spectrum,
a spectrum is all a spectrum.
and
You know, I know.
intelligence is a spectrum.
Well, isn't it though?
Exactly. Precisely.
Mate,
So I just
I've
don't.
never heard so much rubbish like until these last couple of weeks on TikTok, you know, listening in on these lives and being really, really like learning a lot as well, but being so surprised that people can't answer simple questions, can't understand, you know, what analogies are or examples. You know, you can say, oh, you know, if they say, oh, a woman is a woman, and you say, okay, so by that analogy, you know, if you ask me to describe a dog and I say a dog is a dog, then we're like, oh, but we're not talking about dogs. Like, oh my God, like what you don't understand what it means to just make a reference, or like, oh Lord.
I think that a lot of people in this app have trouble like understanding analogies or understanding like comparisons and not being like, yeah, like if you say, what's the dog? Well, I'm not talking about dog, I'm talking about woman. It's like they just, it's like a literal thing. And I think that's one of the things that indicates like autism spectrum disorders, like that they just can't conceptualize and maybe not all autistic people can't conceptualize, but like that. But I do find like there's a lot of people on here who have like neurodivergence, and so they really have a hard time. Like if you make comparisons or analogies, they just don't understand how to compute that. I guess in a way that's
You know, it's
what we're meaning by it. I guess.
it's kind of funny. Like, I'd never heard of this link between autism and maybe being trans before until TikTok. But
Oh, it's true
it's
though.
it's kind of interesting because I've said this before, right? I'm in the community. I'm a queer. I'm a bisexual, and you know, I have dated somebody before who turned out to be trans. When I was getting to know them, and I stayed dating them for 2 years. So I've dated a trans person before, and that person, we definitely suspected they were on the spectrum, as in, it was a woman who identified as a man.
Oh, okay.
Um, and they definitely were kind of on the spectrum. And we used to joke about it all the time. I was like, so now, like in hindsight, I'm kind of like, huh, maybe there really is a thing that's like, maybe it really is a thing. I
It
don't
is
really.
really, it really is a thing, and it's. I think it's because, well, there's a number of reasons. One is because there's this black and white thinking that can occur, and there's also like what you see is, or how do you explain this? Like, so gender makes sense to them as like what you see, you know, like, oh, if you're not wearing dresses and you're not wearing makeup and you're not like this and you're not like that, well, then you really just aren't a woman, right? So if you're if you're like a non-conforming person as far as being neurodivergent, like automatically makes you non-conforming in a lot of ways. And gender non-conforming is one of those ways. And so it makes sense to them, like the very black and white thinking, like, oh, if I'm not like this, then I must be not that, right? And it's like, well, we have to help these people realize, like, no, absolutely any way that you are, that's how women are. Like, there's no
Exactly.
way women are. There's no like, oh, if I'm not like that, then I'm not a woman. It's like, no, the way that you are is how women are because you're an adult human female. And they kind of need to understand that. And that's one of the reasons why I think autistic and neurodivergent people get so caught up in this cult is that they just really do believe that because they're not that way, that is like the norms, the gender norms, or the certain norms, then they just really aren't women then. And then the ideology is like, we're going to give you this, we're going to love bomb you and give you this like incredible belonging in a group that is also non-conformative, and you know, except that they are totally conforming because they're saying that like if you're not this way, then you're a man,
Yeah,
which
but
is
the thing
just
is,
conforming the other way.
yeah, and the thing is, they try to say like, gender criticals or people on this side of things, oh, we're just reducing people down to biology, or we're just, reducing people, or like, but what they do all the time is reduce people down to stereotypes and this fake rubbish of social constructs. Like they're the ones who would literally say being a woman is dresses and nails and heels and makeup, and being a man is a low haircut and trousers. Like it's just
Yeah,
so ridiculous.
it's idiotic, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. And I think that somebody just said there's no such thing as normal, but there actually is such thing as normal. Like people, like women do normally tend to be a certain way. Like that is, or not a certain way, but a multiple of certain ways. Like femininity is usually attributed to women. There is a normality to that. But just because something is normal or common doesn't mean that everyone fits under there. And then if you don't fit under there, you are no longer that thing. Like that's the difference. So just because, you know, and norm, what's normal changes too. Like, so, you know,
Yeah.
it might be more common for that now, but maybe in 100 years it'll be the totally opposite. I don't know, but there, yeah, normality does exist. It's just, it doesn't, just because something's normal doesn't mean that you have to be that way, or it's definitive because it's normal.
Yeah. And actually, I like what you just said that normality changes, right? Or it can change.
Yeah.
Because for me, um, I kind of have slightly different views to most people on every side, because I do kind of feel like gender and sex are very, very closely intertwined, but they are slightly different based on what I've seen of what the definition of gender is. Gender obviously encapsulates it's a complex layer of like age, sex, and other things, right? And on one hand, they say, oh, gender is a social construct. So being a man and a woman is a social construct. I don't agree with that. What I feel like is a social construct is masculinity and femininity. And what can be considered normal like as a or as the performance of masculinity differs from place to place, just as what is considered, normal in femininity differs from place to place. For some people, for example, in my country, where I'm from, most people actually, men and women, all shave like under their arms, or like wax or whatever, get rid of like body hair under their arms, because it's just such a hot place, right? But it's normal for a woman, if she wanted to leave her leg hair, right?
Okay.
You could still be considered a very feminine person without having to get rid of the rest of your body hair, right? But
Oh, okay.
where, in other parts of the world, femininity is tied to little to no hair, like body wise and all that kind of stuff. And like that lived experience that I have, or that awareness that I have, is what makes me understand that the construct is masculinity and femininity, not being a man or a woman, because that is literally just what we are based on our age and our smecks. That
Exactly.
doesn't change.
Exactly. And yeah, the social constructs around men and women are different and they shift and they change and they're cultural and they're religious and they're familial and they're some of them I think do come from biology as well. Like I do think that
Sure.
women are the way they are because of biological factors as well, and that might not shift as much as other things will shift, but um, even biologically, people differ. Like when the trans community tries to prove that there's like this female brain that men can have or whatever, I just think that all they're going to end up proving is that there are men who are, or males who are born more feminized, and that doesn't matter at all. Like, I don't care if there are men who are more feminine inherently. Like, maybe they do have structures that are more similar to females, or maybe they do have tendencies that are more inherently female. But like, that doesn't make one bit of difference, like, at all. It doesn't make them women. It doesn't negate the fact that they have a male body, and we have single sex spaces because of bodies, not because of brains or because of tendencies.
Right.
So their argument just falls flat, even if they could prove, like, biologically, that there are differences between men who are more feminine and men who are more masculine. I just think it expands what men are. It doesn't make them women.
Exactly.
So, oh, hey, Big. Um,
Hi, Martha.
I was just noticing that you were saying in the comments that, oh my God, why is it this point? That you were saying that the bathroom thing's not that big of a deal. And I think it's a really big deal because it's one of the places in society, it's one of the most common spaces in society that women and girls use in order to participate more in society, especially in spaces like educational institutions. So when we take away women's ability to have single sex spaces in society, we negate their participation in society. And I think that that's adding oppression where we already are dealing with a whole bunch of oppression. So we don't need like extra oppression. Like, we've carved out spaces so that we can participate in society and deal with our female bodies away from the male sex, in spaces where we're in states of undress, fleeing male violence, incarcerated, wanting to compete fairly in sport, and for really any reason that we want to have away from the male sex. And for this ideology to take that away from us is just, it's unforgivable. And like, more women will use the bathrooms in society than will use women's shelters and prisons and sports and stuff like that. So it affects more women across the board when we don't allow women to have like public bathrooms in society for their own sex.
Can I ask you a question, Martha?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any statistics on, and I would even take like even a survey, right? That, from like a good source, on what percentage of, let's just stick to like American women, what percentage of American women are in opposition to sharing like universal restrooms with like, you know, everyone? Do
Oh,
you have those stats?
I have no idea, Matt. I don't, like, I
Because that's
personally,
kind of like where I sit with it is like, how do we know that there's so, because like obviously we're in a space right now where there's 80 people and a lot of these people, they are against it. But when we run a live and we say, we don't mind, we have 180 people or 80 people that say, yeah, who cares? So how do we know like what the majority wants and who is the majority in this?
well, we don't actually care so much about the majority. We care about what's right. Like, so for instance, women, because of how women are, in my opinion, they will go with what men are wanting to do. So like, you might have like in Africa, you might have a large amount of women marching in FGM parades and being like, oh, this is what our traditions say, and you're taking away our culture and you're being horrible. And, we have every right to do FGM and blah, blah, blah. But it's a human rights violation, right? So at the end of the day, women can fawn and women can placate and women can jump on men's bandwagons about what they want to do. And and it can even be popular. Like, there's
How is it a human rights violation?
How is FGM a human rights violation?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a sincere question?
Yeah, because not everybody knows what FGM is. So if you're going to mention it, at least give an explanation behind why it is
Freedom
considered.
from torture. Freedom
Oh.
from torture is one of the rights that we have as humans. Everybody has the right to be free from torture.
Right.
FGM.
So one of my other reasons for asking that, so FGM is considered mutilation specifically because of how it affects a specific sensitive spot of the woman's body, right? Yet, and that specific spot, despite being abused, I'm trying to TikTok friendly this, despite being abused, it can still do some of its functional bits afterwards, right? So we permit the same thing to men. So when we talk about FGM, we always forget that circumcision is a form of that, but for men as well, because we say that it's for health reasons, and a lot of people that use FGM also claim it for health reasons in some areas, despite there is no proof that it does any substantial anything. So when we try to bring up things that are like gone against women, like FGM and everything else, is an excuse for why we like. I don't even know why it was brought up anyway to defend this whole bathroom thing that you are against. Like it makes no sense.
It was brought up because women will often speak up against their human rights or speak up against what's good for women because men are wanting to do something. So FGM is purely for men. It's an absolutely despicable misogynistic practice that has nothing even remotely similar to circumcision for men. What it is and its impacts and its results they're not even comparable at all. Literally.
So again, that you're talking about something that's torture comparative to something that deals with a bathroom. A bathroom is not torture. So trying to utilize that to say that women are going to go against is crazy.
Oh God. Okay, I'll explain again. So when I'm giving you examples of women going against their best interests, I go to an extreme to illustrate my point, but I could do other things. I could say that, for instance, there are a growing trend of women who are speaking against their right to vote. For instance, that's becoming more and more popular because of what men are wanting and saying, and then women are like, yeah, we shouldn't be able to vote. And so
on their tendency to not want to fight men and wanting to do what they're wanting to do. That doesn't mean that we take away from all women
the right to vote, the right to have single-sex spaces, taking away their human right to not have their genitalia bashed in with a rock and their vagina sewed up as their legs are tied together. Those are not, like, if women want to have those things in society, that is not the same thing as...
So using these extremes to defend the idea of bathrooms is crazy. Do you actually know the actual history to bathrooms, to gendered bathrooms, how young the idea of gendered bathrooms is, how we have gone millennia without gendered bathrooms just fine as a society, how multiple other countries have actually done away with gendered bathrooms and have shown that actually a grape within bathrooms limits because of this. The likelihood of attack in a bathroom, by the way, grape by itself in a bathroom or assaults by itself in a bathroom is so limited that they have very little information on it because the likelihood of it happening in a bathroom is so small. But yet we're going to sit here and people like you continuously use this excuse. And I'm not a person who I'm not before anybody says anything, I'm not a huge like I have tea friends, but I have very specific views when it comes to the tea community. This isn't about the tea community. This is generally about the idea that anybody should be able to use the bathroom no matter what their gender is at the end of the day.
Them from using the bathroom?
Because the bathroom is meant for you to go pee and poop. What gender specific stuff do you need to do in the bathroom that is in a public area where everybody else can see you? You are behind a door. Nobody can see what you're doing with your vajayjay. Nobody can see what he's doing with his pee-pee. At the end of the day, you go in, you do your shit, you leave. If you're getting undressed outside of that bathroom stall, if you're doing anything that exposes you outside of that bathroom stall, you are being illegal because those are public spaces at that point. So why does it matter if there's a man shitting next to you?
Regardless, right? There can be gender neutral bathrooms or restrooms, and that is what you can advocate for. You don't get to advocate for men to have access to female restrooms. People use them for their natural biological needs. People use them to escape from harmful situations. People do sometimes use them little pockets of like community kind of social moments.
A
People,
bathroom is not a social space. It should
I
not be a social space. That's disgusting.
that's your business. If you don't have any girlfriends and you go into the bathroom, that is you and your friend's business. A lot of girls do. A lot of women do.
And it is not the responsibility of society to cater to your wants and whims.
It is not the responsibility of in the interest of these men or in the interest of us for these men to be in our spaces. Why are you not interested in them going to their own spaces?
So again, because bathrooms were for are only 200 years old. Gendered bathrooms are only 200 years old. We did just fine as a society without gendered bathrooms. As a society, when we continuously try to separate things like this and you try to utilize this, oh my God, it's a safe.
Miss, I'm really sorry I had to mute you. You really don't ever stop. Okay, I gotta say a couple things. First of all, no, we weren't doing just fine. Okay, this idea that we were just doing just fine and women weren't being raped and voyeured upon and harassed and intimidated and indecently exposed to before because they were in the factories and the workforces and they were being raped and intimidated and harassed.
That's not the history. That's not the real history.
And indecently exposed to. Yeah, if you look at like where like the popularity of it came from, it was from the Industrial Revolution.
I understand. I have a whole history of bathrooms.
All these kinds of.
Then in my thing that is actually.
Dude. I don't know if you're like don't know how to have etiquette, but like when someone's speaking, you don't just interrupt with your loud ass mic. I'll have to mute you if you do that. Okay, so yeah, that is one of the reasons why we would like some privacy and dignity away from the male sex while we're dealing with our female biology. Men are not these well-behaved creatures that you seem to think that they are. We do have huge problems with voyeurism, harassment, intimidation, indecent exposure, being raped, being beaten, being unalived by men. And when we're in states of undress, where we're pulling our pants down or getting changed or fleeing male violence or incarcerated or wanting to compete fairly in sports, men can just get the absolute fuck right out of our spaces. And as far as like your idea that the only privacy we're allowed to have in our entire fucking space that's designated for us is the fucking stall. So like an asshole autogynephile can be in the stall next to us jaying off and rifling through the women's tampon and pad thing for his disgusting fetish, or a woman's having a miscarriage in the stall and she hears a male voice at the sink, or a woman who's in there adjusting her hijab and cannot have the expectation that a man doesn't just walk the fuck right in when it's down, or a woman who's changing her kids' clothes because the stall is too fucking small to do that, or the change table's in the outer area near the sink, or any other fucking reason women want to have privacy away from the male sex in the entire space, not just the little stall. The little stall is to give us additional privacy away from our own sex so that we can deal with our bodily functions away from our own sex. But the entire fucking space is for women and girls, not for men with fetishes, not for men with plastic surgery, not for men who just want to go in there because the line's shorter, not for men at all. We have boundaries for a reason, for many reasons, and men can respect those boundaries. Now, just because you're a pick-me who wants to get male fucking validation or some stupid shit like that doesn't mean that you get to stand up and take away the things that women have so that we could participate in society.
It's really interesting when feminists like you immediately want to call somebody a pick me because we don't have agreeing. I work on the idea of logic. I don't work on emotion. So your emotions are your own emotions. That's perfectly fine. But turning around and you continuously sit in here, you're acting like all men are the issue. It's clear that you're an it's all men till it's no men kind of person. That's perfectly fine. But less than 3%, especially here in the United States, less than 3% of men, and that's going on the extreme. It's actually less than 1%, but we triple the numbers, everything like that. to take in the idea of lack of reporting and what men could actually, less than 3% of men commit crimes against women a year. And that's all violent crimes, right? So you turning around and saying, well, these men with fetishes and these men are just going to get us. You act like men are beasts who can't control themselves. They actually can. 99% of men do perfectly fine controlling themselves. And you sat.
So, Miss, do you understand
You
that?
wanted me to let you talk.
Miss, do you understand that
But you're going to keep muting me because you don't like me.
Okay, yeah, you're.
I literally just listened to you. Like, let me finish.
Can I have a turn?
If you're,
Ooh.
yeah, you can, but yeah, you totally can, but I'm not going to tolerate people talking over and dominating the panel because they think that they have righteousness to do so. This is my panel, and you don't get to just dominate it, regardless of whether you think it's fair or not. You're fucking absolutely over talking everybody and going on a tangent about it, and just like, you're welcome to come up here, but I just wanted to say really quickly about this, like 3% of men. We've got fucking statistics just came out of Australia that 1 in 6 men have a sexual interest in children. Okay, 1 in 35 in the UK. This coming from the Ministry of Justice there. No, I don't think all men at all. And even if it is 3% of whatever, we can't even prove 2% of our grapes. Okay, we can't. So your statistics and your idea that men are these like wonderful creatures when like we're actually being unalived every 10 fucking minutes by them and raped every 60 seconds. No, we have big fucking problems with men in our society, okay? And regardless of the unaliving and the graping and all that kind of stuff and the voyeuring and harassing and intimidating, the planting cameras and the upskirting and the beating and all the things that men do, it's not even all about that. It's about just affording women and girls basic fucking respect and privacy and dignity so that they can deal with their female bodies away from the male sex. And yeah, a lot of the men who wear women as a costume do it because they have a fetish called autogynephilia. So we don't need men who wear us as a costume and don't see us as human beings and who want to go and jay off in our spaces and record themselves and put it on their fucking, on their OnlyFans and put it on their porn sites. Bonus points if women and children can be seen or heard in the background. Yeah, men can all, regardless of how nice they are or good they are or fetishy or they are or dangerous they are, all men can fuck right off out of our spaces. Thanks. Anyway, go ahead, Big.
Okay, sorry, I might break up. I think I lost a little bit of connection. Sorry, just give me a second.
Well said, Martha, by the way. Women's spaces need to be protected.
And peace as well. So if anyone wants to speak, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you.
She said, like, why would you advocate for like men to be able to use women's spaces? But to be clear, like, I guess two things. One, I'll say legally, like, and lawfully, men can use them now. I have friends that use them now. Even cisgendered men who are heterosexual who use women's restrooms because they're cleaner. So they can do it and they do it. And I do allow, if someone were to ask me, can I use it? I'm going to say, yes, you can. I'm not going to be rude or nasty. Wait, there's one more thing. Do you, like, so I understand your concerns then at the same time. So what are you guys doing and advocating for to actually put laws in place? Because as it stands, like, people can pretty much do whatever they want.
Okay, so a few things. First of all, your friends are assholes who don't listen to boundaries in society, so that sucks. You should probably tell them to stop being assholes who don't respect other people's boundaries. Second of all, you giving permission for people to violate women's boundaries is fucking crazy. Like, please don't do that.
All women should
consent.
All women should consent to that, and all women will never consent to that.
And consenting for other people, like, to lose their privacy and dignity in a space that's meant to give us all privacy and dignity away from males is like, those men are going to listen to your yes before they listen to women's no. So you're really, really fucking things up by like giving men permission to violate women's boundaries. And then as far as what are we doing about legislation, there are a lot of people who are trying to make this law. Like, unfortunately, it shouldn't have had to have been made law. Men should just respect women's boundaries and consent. But because they can't seem to do that, we do have to make laws now. Me personally, I am doing things within my own community and country to look at legislation, and I'm supporting the women who are doing so. My main function, though, I really like to debate and change minds in the culture, and TikTok lives and things and Twitter and, just debating and like trying to convince people to fight the ideology in their own ways. Because some people are more powerful in the way that they can fight the legislation and stuff like that than myself, and they're better at that kind of advocacy. But as far as what I'm doing is I'm trying to
Yeah, but
engage in the culture battle, I guess.
imagine
Okay, and
if
that makes sense.
no,
And then
hold
can
on,
I?
Brit.
Oh
Hold
no!
on, Brit.
Wait, hold on. I
Imagine
want
the
to
no,
respond. Well, I'm kind of in
you
the
were
middle of a
asking me a question.
discourse for a second. Hold on. Sorry. Just So
Sorry, I'm just moving out of my
Oh,
Wi-Fi zone, so it might be a minute.
is it just me that can't hear
Hold on,
her?
let me turn my Wi-Fi
no, I
off.
got
Hold on,
Her.
let me turn my Wi-Fi
no, I
off.
got muted by a moderator, but that's fine. Maybe
Because
when
she's
it's quiet, I don't care. It's fine. I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah, you're good. Go
So
ahead, go ahead.
I guess for me, like, okay, then so since you're saying I can't consent for other women, so let's say, like, hypothetically, I'm alone and there is a T person and we're walking at the same time, I can't just, like, be okay with them using the bathroom. Like, I can't. And what do you expect me to do if I'm in there and they're in there? You want me to, like, call them out and tell them to leave? Like, what is the plan
Absolutely.
here?
You absolutely should. You
Okay,
absolutely should
so
probably not
my
tell them to leave.
So
Why should okay?
dumb.
so my
They're
opinion,
trans. Sorry, go ahead.
okay, I'll tell
Always
you.
jump to these stupid scenarios.
And
There's
that
no
is
reason
that
why.
like, oh, sorry, go
How
ahead.
is that stupid, though?
Because
I'm
they're fucking
asking
men.
I'm
Men
asking
should
you.
not be
Okay,
in
well,
women's spaces.
Isn't
Very
that what you
simple.
guys drum up in your head? Like I'm in there, I'm using the bathroom. All of a sudden, it's a T woman. I literally just said that. How is that stupid? That would
No,
be
you
like
okay,
one
should.
of
okay,
the
You
fears,
should call them
right?
out. You should
You've
call them out
literally
and tell them to leave. Very simple. That's not. They should not be in women's
I'm
spaces.
not gonna do that. If they're not aggressing upon me or like doing
Yeah,
anything to me, I'm not
but you're
gonna do
taking away from
that.
other women's rights. That's what you're doing. You are allowing
I'm
okay.
women
not.
to
It's not a
guess
right.
what? Yes, it is
Yeah,
a
but
right.
So
Jess, they do like ops and
Every
they are
woman has the
respectful.
right to
Oh,
their
sorry. I
that's
have
privacy.
a
a
couple
right.
friends
That's
down
bullshit.
in there that are asking if you guys do like ops. Yes, they do, Jess. They are mostly respectful. As long as you're
can
not
I?
over talking them
It's irrelevant. I
Okay,
would
or
even
spitting
argue.
let
or
me.
spitting too many facts. Sorry.
I would even argue at a certain point, like let's say mothers who have young sons, they should not be even taking their sons into those washrooms. I would even make that argument as a male. I would say
Okay,
after a
so
certain age, you
big.
shouldn't take your little boy to the women's washroom because that's not where they should be exposed.
I
I
mean,
would even
Brit,
make
So
that argument in reversal for little kids.
My friend Jess is another cis heterosexual woman who does the same thing I do. Knew me as well. I think she has the same belief I do. I'm not too sure, but I think so. So it's just like where, like I guess if all these women, these females are consenting, why is your consent more than our like? Why does yours matter
okay,
more? I guess
can I? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So I'll answer all your questions. So first of all, um, the what you should do. I can't tell you what you should do. I'm not the boss of you. I personally think that if you buy into this ideology or you're like sort of compliant with it, even if you don't buy into it, you are putting women and girls at risk. So if you see a man walking in to the change room or the bathroom or whatever, and you don't say anything about it, and you're just, or you maybe even fawn a little bit, and you're like, oh my God, your lipstick's fucking amazing. And then you leave the bathroom and you let this fucking asshole stay in the bathroom and you didn't do anything about it. And he grapes like an old woman or a child, or he grapes like a woman or something, or he beats a pregnant woman and, or something happens, right? And you didn't fucking do anything about it because you didn't implement the safeguarding that the boundary was there to implement. So the boundary is there so that if people violate it, we should and can do something about it, right? And you
Okay, that's a
choosing
fair
not to,
point.
but hold on, you choosing not to do anything about that boundary being transgressed can get people hurt. And yeah, maybe he won't do anything. Maybe he'll just leave and it'll be fine. But I think that I personally, my opinion is that you should do something when you see someone transgressing a boundary that's important. And then, second of all, the idea. What was the second thing you said about? Oh, you can't consent for all women. So, the boundary itself is already it's already been put in place. So it's not like I consent about this boundary, and each individual decides whether this boundary is there or not. It already is there for all women and girls. It's already been established and set. So when people violate it, that like it's
Can't hear Martha. Is it just me?
Not like I get to decide. Like, can you not hear me? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you again.
She's back. You're back.
Oh, okay. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't decide that boundary. That boundary's already been decided by our rights being like created, right? So like that's why I gave the example of the other things that we achieved. Like we achieved that FGM is a human rights violation. We achieved that the women's right to vote. We achieved single sex spaces in society so that we could participate more. Women disagreeing with that, women deciding they don't want that boundary, on and on and on. That is inconsequential. And it's not like I am going against their consent. If they want to take away some established boundary, that's not me taking away their consent.
Okay.
They don't get to take
But
away what we have achieved in society. That boundary's there,
yeah.
and like they don't get to like
I
lose
understand
that
it more
boundary
now.
for
I
us
get
because of their
that.
opinion.
That's a fair point. I get that. You know, I didn't see it from that perspective, right? It's already implemented. Therefore, there's an expectation of a boundary. But you know, my thing is like, right, like, let's say I'm in there and like when I was younger, I got jumped really bad in the bathroom by three girls, by the way, three other girls. And you know, anytime I'm in the bathroom by myself and I see a group of women walk in, I get a little nervous. Like, I'm not going to just assume that they're about to jump somebody, but why would I assume that the T woman in the bathroom is going to do that? Like, I feel like that's discriminatory. Also, can you let Jess up? My friend Jess, she's been going off in the comments. And I
Oh,
don't think you
sorry.
saw. No, it's okay. But
I'm
I'm
just
just like,
Let
well,
me
I feel like it puts me in a bad position to do that because, like, then I'm just calling them out for being dangerous. What if they're not dangerous? That's not right.
But this is
Well,
the thing,
again,
right? We
oh,
shouldn't
sorry.
always just start with the perspective. This is why like where I start from is not that, oh, all trans women are dangerous, all men are. No, that's not what we're saying. Where it starts from should literally just be the fact that some women literally are just uncomfortable. There would be a man in there. That alone should be the end of the
More than enough.
conversation.
It should be more than enough because
That should be
privacy and
more than
dignity
enough.
privacy and dignity are kind of the main reasons why we have sex segregation, because also like women are not a threat to men as much, like in the bathroom or whatever. So like for them though, I go just as hard on the women who are wearing men as a costume, because like men deserve privacy and dignity away from the female sex so that they can go pee at the urinal and have their penis out and not have a woman walk right in on them. It's just basically basic human respect. But as far as the danger thing goes, like, yeah, when groups of people come in, that can be intimidating. I understand that. However, men violating a boundary should always be a red flag. So, regardless of whether this man feels entitled to violate the boundary because he has a woman costume on, as a woman, you should always, or men's, and anybody actually, any sex, their willingness to violate an established boundary and consent for women and girls and for men and boys, that should always be a red flag. That should always be a threat. And we should never teach women and girls, especially, to ignore red flags and threats of men having no problem with breaching a social contract, with breaching a boundary, and just being like, well, we don't know he's dangerous. Yes, we do know he's dangerous
So,
because he
Martha,
doesn't regard
you should see what
boundaries.
she just wrote in the comments. She just wrote, okay, so she wants to let men into the restrooms because men protect women. So, is
No.
that really what? Is that really why?
Someone's making fun of me. No, let's go back. Someone's making fun of me for getting jumped by three women, saying like,
No,
"Oh, I got jumped by
that's
three
no.
women, so now I want men in the bathroom." Well, men do protect women. Like maybe if there was a man there, I wouldn't have gotten jumped by those girls. Like you don't
You know
know.
what? Go into the men's restroom, like what Martha's prompt says.
I don't mind if it's clean. I don't mind. I
I
don't.
have several times.
To be honest, I don't actually like believe this prompt. Like this
Yeah,
prompt
I'm
is
not
meant to
waiting
just
for
be
that
kind of
long
funny.
ass line.
Okay, well you
It's
need to
just a
have more
level of
respect for men and boys. Like you don't get to just take away men and boys' privacy and dignity because you're lazy or you're
What
entitled.
privacy and dignity am I taking though?
Well, the space is provided so that men and boys can have privacy and dignity away from the female sex, where they
No,
take
the
their
space
penis
is
out and go pee at
provided
the
as a
urinal.
restroom, and a restroom is a basic human
So why
right.
would they have a designation of sex then? Why wouldn't it just be for anybody then? Do you understand that
What?
boundaries are
The
and designations are there for a reason?
uh
Do you
huh.
have to
I
be
do.
told not to go?
Do
Do you
I
have to
get to
be told
answer,
not?
or do you just want to spitfire?
Do you have to be told not to go into an employees only door too? Do you have to be told to stop at stop signs? Do you have to be told to like respect boundaries in society, or do you just like are you an antisocial person? Like what's happening for you here?
Can I answer, or do you have
Yeah,
more
go for it.
questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll start off with one, it's not illegal to use the bathroom. It's not illegal for a woman to walk into a man's restroom, and it's not illegal for a man to walk into a woman's restroom. I'm sorry that that bothers you and it makes you uncomfortable, but it's not illegal. Second of
It's
all,
not illegal
your
to go through
comfort.
an employees only door
No,
either, but
it's not illegal to use the restroom. No. And I'm not waiting
I
in a long
didn't.
line. I'll pee outside if I have to. I really don't give a damn.
Okay, well,
Second of all,
maybe pee outside rather than violate a little boy's
yeah, well,
privacy when
I'll do
he's at the
whatever I want to
urinal.
do because I can, and it's
Okay, so
America.
I think you might have like an
No, if we
Wait.
drag
you
So
you,
might
you're
have
advocating you're
if we
advocating for her
drag
to
you out
commit
by your hair from
crimes?
there,
That's what you just did.
Yeah,
so
You're telling her to pee outside, which is a crime. You're telling
right.
her that's better than her just using a restroom.
Yeah, because it makes men
so
uncomfortable.
so do you
Yeah,
think
that's
it's better
insane.
to violate the privacy of a little boy who's at
It's
the
not violating
urinal?
anyone's privacy.
absolutely it is.
So what
Violating their
is
privacy would
so
be in the restroom, like in the stall with them. That would be violating their privacy.
well, you know that like male spaces don't necessarily have all stalls and people are at the urinal and like a woman just walking in is definitely violating the privacy and dignity of all the men and boys who are in that space. Like you do
Wait, hold on.
understand that
I
like
mean,
I just
I understand because I'm a man. So, I mean, do you go into the men's restroom?
no, because I have
Okay,
respect for
so then how do
boundaries.
you know? Okay, so then why do you think you know what you're talking about? Like what happens in the men's restroom?
Well, because I have a husband and because I've known people who talk about what like the configuration is in there and they have urinals. And also I have worked at restaurants and I've worked at bars
Yeah,
where I've cleaned the
children
bathrooms
generally don't
and
use
I can
urinals.
see yeah, they do.
No, hold
Like
on.
what
Hold on. How are you as a woman going to tell me as a man when you just said that you don't go into the men's restroom? Going to sit here
because
and
I
tell
have
me
That's what
like
she
what?
say.
Wait,
You
lots of
agree with what
mom
she
hold on.
said because
I
I
you're a
have
just
lots of
told
mom.
mom
you.
What is
friends. I
this?
have
Wait,
lots of mom
hold on.
friends.
Yeah, wait. You have friends? One, I don't believe you. Two, like I'm
Oh my
sitting here
god.
telling you as a man that generally
What
doesn't
is
happen.
this?
Now, I'm not.
Bye bye.
Yeah,
Who
We're here
is
for
that?
I could just full
we're
over
here for we're here for a
darkness.
genuine conversation, not like you don't have friends. And I'm gonna
With the whole, like, we don't even have statistics on how many women are okay with this, let alone do men even care for in their
You know
bathroom.
what it is? It doesn't matter
okay,
though.
so
The
again,
statistics don't matter.
consent is not transferable. Like we don't get to decide like if you want to reconfigure society and be like, do we need privacy anymore? I guess, but like I would say most people do want privacy where they're going to the bathroom away from the opposite sex. Women will, if they hear a man, they'll freeze, like they're in the bathroom dealing with their menstruation or a miscarriage or even just peeing and pooing. We don't want men in the space at all. You may not care, that's up to you. But you don't get to take away what we have like already established as far as privacy and dignity and safety in spaces where we are in states of undress. Like I said, it's hard enough for us to prove like more than 2% of our grapes, like in society, in our relationships, in our homes. We're not. It's really hard to prove voyeurism, harassment, intimidation, indecent exposure. Men are planting cameras, and like when people say, "Oh, we've got these like statistics that," or not statistics, but we've got these bathrooms now where it's unisex. We are seeing like statistics and studies that show that these are causing more harm. They're causing women to get raped. They're causing men to be able to have access to women's spaces and plant cameras easier and voyeur and harass. It's very hard. Like it's very hard to prove
Martha,
voyeurism.
I would say like irrelevant of all that. Forget about all that shit. Regardless, at the end of the day, I look at this as a male who has many important women in his life. You should have your space. That's it. There's no argument to be
Yeah.
made over there. I look at it as, you know what, like even if one woman is feeling uncomfortable and does not want a man in there, it shouldn't happen, and it should be separated. And the funny thing is, I think I probably mentioned this on the slide before. The argument is always for these trannies wanting to, or men dressing up as women wanting to use women's spaces, but
Yeah,
you
we can't say
rarely see
that
the
word.
opposite. You rarely see the opposite argument happening where women who are trying to dress up as men trying to go into men's spaces. You rarely see that other argument. So that it just doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense, and it should not happen.
Well, and we just like, I would say, if you want to know about popularity, like, for instance, I think most mothers would not want men in spaces with their little girls. I would say most elderly women don't want men in spaces where they're dealing with their incontinence or their
Most fathers wouldn't want it either. I'm a father.
Most fathers, yeah. So
I would not.
Do fathers not take their daughters to the bathroom?
We do take our daughters to the bathroom, but guess what? After a certain point, my daughter's probably not going to be coming to the bathroom with me in a men environment. I would
Of course,
not.
but as children.
Yeah,
But
as
as
children, I
children.
could do it, but I would not want, I would not want my daughter to be exposed to that. I'd probably end up using like a disabled washroom instead, trying to get more privacy out of it. There's no way I want another male to be able to see my daughter. My daughter's only 5 months old, so she's very little right now. But you get the point.
Right.
Even if I had to take her in to change a diaper, I would not take it into like a public space. I would much rather maybe even like put her in the back of my SUV and like keep the windows up and tint so that no one can see her. I will respect her right to privacy. Even at a certain point, funny thing is I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, yo, listen, like right now, she's very little. She's only like 5 months.